Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakag, Radash. Double honors to the head apostles of the great millstone that taught me this truth, and including the bishops as well. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Shai, Brakatham, to the elect, the 140 and 4,000, and including the 1/3 as well. And it's your brother, once again, Laban, with another video for this week with this news here. And a relative passed this down to me, man, and I was just a little bit blown away of actually seeing this, even though, it's not to that much of a surprise that Esau does this, because Esau has been putting poison in foods for years. You want to talk about these fast food restaurants that Jake loved to pack up. Especially, man, like when you're in a particular ghetto, you'll see a bunch of black women just lining up and getting their food in there to feed their children. Because it's basically fast food in it. You don't have to cook it. All you got to do is just go over there and just go buy it, and it's cheap too. You know what I'm saying? So, this is what you see in these inner city urban areas when you're among our people. Which is a sad case, of course, because when you go outside of the projects and you see how these devils eat, they eat in 5-star Michelin restaurants, eating the best kind of food they can get. And meanwhile, Jake is in the fast food joints, just packing up fast food joints like that. You talk about McDonald's, you talk about KFC, food that just basically just destroys you, man. That basically puts an end to the body. And that's why a lot of our people got, bad health. You want to talk about diabetes, you want to talk about all manner of various diseases. I can't really think of just that one right there, that I've just declared, is that, Jake is known to have diabetes, right? Because Jake is busy eating the wrong kind of food. Okay? So, what they're doing is they're putting animal contraceptives and antibiotics in the fast foods. As it reads, testing reveals kids may unknowingly be consuming an animal contraceptive when they eat a chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A. In a new report, moms across America found veterinary drugs and hormones in foods sold by the 10 most popular fast food restaurants in the U.S. And this also reminds me of the film, which I know I'm a bit late of watching this film, but it's called Clone Tyrone. And there's a part in the film where they're in this fast food restaurant and everybody just laughs at the same time in the film. And Jamie Foxx, he peeped it, and he told the rest of the his counterparts that was sitting at the table with him, right, that they put chemicals inside of the food for the people to be reacting and responding in that manner. So they go down. So, I'm not going to go too much into the film without spoiling it, for you brothers that haven't seen it anyway. But that film just kind of revealed a lot of things that they were doing to Jake and how they prey on Jake on a regular, because they know who we are. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the powers that be, that control America, to be exact. Okay, they know who the hell we are, and they know that we're the people of the Most High, and this is why they do this to us. Okay, they persuade us by listening to this terrible music for so many years to do injustices to ourselves, and as well as persuade you to eat all kind of bad food with these damn commercials, right? And you go in and you go get you some food over there, like McDonald's or KFC or Burger King, whatever, right? And then you find out years down the line of eating all this stuff, you got diabetes, or you got gout, or you got some kind of form of disease that you never thought you was going to get. because they're putting poison in your food, especially in these fast food restaurants, which they've been doing that for years anyway. Right? So let me go and read this without doing too much talking. So this reads, kids may unknowingly be consuming an animal contraceptive when they eat a chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A, according to the MAA reports on veterinary drugs and hormones found in food served in the most popular U.S. fast food restaurants. The non-profit MAA this month released results from food samples tested for veterinary drugs, including antibiotics and hormones. Health Research Institute, a Fairfield, Iowa nonprofit independent lab, conducted the testing. The results show that a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich contains a nicobazin, an anti-parasitic that is also functions as a bird contraceptive. 60% of samples from the U.S. top 10 fast food chains also contained the antibiotic monensin, which can cause severe for human use. For the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, Zen Honeycutt, MAA founder and executive director, called the results shocking and disturbing, especially because some fast food chains supply school lunches. Honeycutt, so even the children are getting this too. Honeycutt's and other healthy foods advocates on October the 17th will present the test results to U.S. lawmakers during a congressional briefing on U.S. food toxicity. 30 million school meals are served to our children each day, Honeycutt told the Defender. And for millions of underprivileged children, these toxic meals are their only access to nutrition, she added, and as well as they already notice. That's why they do this. All right? Because, like I said earlier in this video, man, they're preying on you so-called Negroes. They're preying on you so-called Latinos and Native American Indians, primarily in America. All right? And as well as you, the speckled birds among us too, that have the Israelite genetics in them. Because they know exactly who we are. Like I just said it, that we're the Israelites. All right? That's what they know us to be. So their best interest is by keeping you down. And if that means to be sick, then that's so be. They're going to put poisoning in your food. Because when the body is sick, you can't go beyond the measure of your body. So if you're sick, you're going to stay poor. And I mean mentally sick, I'm talking about. If you're mentally sick, if you're bodily sick, that also plays a part in your mental as well. So again, you're not going to be able to go above and beyond to try to overtake this devil, because this devil is afraid that eventually his power is going to be taken over by the Israelites. Okay, so if you got a bunch of well-to-do in mind, body, and soul Israelites, what do you think is going to happen? There's going to be a takeover. Just look at the history of ancient Rome. When ancient Rome fell apart, who took over the actual ancient Roman system and turned it into the Holy Roman Empire? We did. So Esau knows that history. When I say Esau, I'm talking about these so-called white people at the very top of this world today. All right, and primarily I'm talking about the JOOs, to be exact. They know exactly what's going on. Okay, and that's why, once again, as I'm going to say, that's why they keep you Jakes at the bottom. That's why we're the most oppressed people in the Western Hemisphere. You know, you can get a Chinese man, you can get an Elamite individual or a group of people that can come from their country, and all of a sudden they're there for a couple of months. They set up shop in your neighborhoods and making bank off of you. Why is this? Why is it that you've been there for 400, 500 years and you hadn't even got a leg up in the American economy? Because by purpose, they've been setting systems in place to keep you down. And also, to make matters even worse, let's put poisoning in your food so that you stay at the bottom. Because when you're at the bottom of society, when you're in the projects, all right, guess what? All you're going to be doing is wanting to pay, pretty much run after a paycheck. And that's where they want you to be, because then we're going to continue to keep the economy going, which makes us the cradle of civilization. As these Amalekites know, they know that the Israelites have always been cradles of civilizations. When you read the history of the Israelites, when we were in slavery under various of the nations, because of our disobedience against our power, that's what was going on. Our level of skill, our smarts made these nations rich. So these devils, they know this. That's why they didn't just get any old. They went specifically to go get Jake from West Africa and also Europe too, to send us back to where they was from, which was in the New World, so that we can basically invigorate the economy. Excuse me. Because they couldn't do it the damn selves. So why would they then allow us to get any kind of leverage in their economy? If us being at the bottom worked for their economy, they're going to keep us down at the bottom. So if this means put poisons in your food and this allow you to populate, then that's so be. All right. But the point that I'm conveying here is the fact that to you Jakes that's watching this, they know who the hell you are. Now you may not even know the value of yourself, because basically society as it stands, the Western world is beating the value out of us. So we don't even see value in each other anymore. But they know the value of you. All right. They know your skill and your smarts. So they use that for themselves. Okay. But the worst thing that they could ever have happen is that you use your smarts for yourself. They can't have that. They got to have you dumb and stupid and sick so that basically you can be a damn slave to enrich their pockets. Okay, you're only smart enough to make them rich. You're only strong enough to make them rich. Okay, that's the bottom line, man. So that's all I got to say right there. Now we're going to get some scriptures on this. Let's get the book of Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. What does it mean that they work evil upon their beds? Meaning while they're sleeping, they're meditating on what kind of wickedness they can do. When the day comes, they can practice it. As it is written, when the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands. And these so-called JWOs, they're in the power seat. And that's why they can do all of this stuff to you. They can set up, different various institutions and men in secret that can basically put poison in your food. And especially nowadays, they're in a reduction of the population right now. So right now, as it stands, do you wonder why you struggling to have kids now? It's really to do with this. Okay, and it's funny because the generations prior, because I'm still a young man, but I've seen enough to have seen the difference of the changes of the world today. Okay. And what I've observed is that it's true. Like, I don't see a bunch of pregnant women walking around like I used to back in the day. I don't see this as much, because the powers that be, they're on a population reduction wave now. That's the wave that they're on. Okay. As it is written on one of the Georgia Guidestones, that they've basically destroyed by themselves, which is the top commandment, which is to maintain humanity under 500 million. And oh, yes, I remember it very clearly. Let's keep reading on. And they covered fields and take them by violence, and the houses, and take them away. And so they oppress a man in his house, and even a man and his heritage. And that's exactly what they've done. When I think about Gad and Reuben, how they were treated, that's exactly what was done to them. When them so-called Europeans came over to the Americas, they pushed Gad to the corners, bit by bit by bit, and got them corners called reservations. And they did the same thing to Judah and Benjamin in Europe as well. They conquered us in these areas. You want to talk about England or the United Kingdom overall. You had a lot of Judites that were there, and as well as Benjamites that were ruling in Ireland and Scotland, to be exact, and conquered them. And the ones of them that were alive, that were basically conquered in mind and soul, they sold them off as slaves, right along with the West African brothers and sisters that was sent to the New World as well. So you got descendants of Jakes in America and in the islands that actually go back to Europe. They don't talk about that. Okay, so they did the same thing to Jake in Europe. And what I've also found out is that you got Benjamites that are in Jamaica that actually go back to Spain too. Okay, just to put that out there. So now they got all of those lands to themselves, and they oppress us in the houses that we owned. In other words, the lands that we had. As it is written once again, and they covered fields and take them by violence. That's what they did. They took all of these lands by violence and houses and take them away. And so they oppress a man and his house. So while they're on our land, they're oppressing us in the same land that we own, that they've stolen away from us. Even a man and his heritage, also the heritage of our people. They gave us black, Afro-Caribbean, Afro-American, okay, Negro, Latino. They gave you Native American, while they take on our God-given title, which is to be called the Israelites. Calling themselves what? Modern day JOOs, Israeli, which is what the term means. Verse 3, now the Lord is speaking to the prophet Micah right here. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. And absolutely, the time which is coming up is going to be evil for Esau. When Esau brings the evils, and the Lord is going to bring them same evils to him, and if not worse. The great payback is coming. All of the wrongs that they have done, they're going to pay for it. As it is also written, for God is not mocked, for whatever man soweth, that shall he also reap. As it is written in the book of Galatians 3:25, for a man, for the wrong that which ye have done, shall receive for the thing that ye have done. I'm roughly paraphrasing that precept. Okay, another precept that comes to mind. It is a righteous thing to recompense tribulation unto those that have troubled you. And the time is going to come, according to the book of Ezekiel 25 and verse 14, that the Lord is going to put the spirit upon us to exact vengeance upon the Edomites that have did us wrong. Okay, and if that wasn't enough, they put poison in your food. They give you shit music and food to destroy you, to keep your frequency at a shit level so that you don't rise above the occasion and take over the daggone place. All right. And just like I mentioned in the film Clone, Tyrone, there's certain parts of that film, man, when now that I'm reading this article, there's certain parts of that film that I'm actually visualizing as I'm reading this article to you. Because in that video, in that film, it actually tells you the truth in plain sight. And that's why they make these films, to tell you the truth in plain sight. But see, most people, they don't pick it up. Some will pick it up until like later on. But if you're in the truth like us, you can see the truth in plain sight. Okay? And that's why you got to revert back to this Bible, man. Because when you understand this Bible, you know what the hell is going on. Rather than you knowing what's going on later on. You know what's going on right there and there when it's presented to you. Okay? Whenever a particular film come out. Again, cloning Tyrone actually shows you how they've basically been preying on our people. Watching our people. Why are they watching us so much? Because they know who the hell you are. And they're afraid and they're threatened by your presence. Yes, I said it. So-called black people, primarily, and as well as the so-called Latinos, Native American Indians, are a threat to the Western society because of what we are. So that's all I have to say. Giving all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakah HaKwadash. And those are the names of the Father and as well as the begotten Son. And I've also included to name the Holy Spirit. And these are the names that they're afraid of. The powers that be. This is what they don't want you to return back to. That's why they find our presence threatening. Shalom.